them just looking at the Kimmy as not just the main carry, it's the only carry they're going to have in this game.
Devastating to set things up.
All right, here we are, game number 1 of this best-of-3 series between ONIC Philippines and VERSO Time. The winner goes straight into the grand finals, while the loser will have to face EVOS, who is waiting in the lower bracket finals. Of course, as usual, this is expected of a Gacha and Kimmy combination. Can be very strong and very difficult to deal with in the early portions of the game, trying to clear that minion wave. Oh, Brusco's gonna get caught out here. He really has to be careful. But he understands the limit of his hero and knows that he doesn't need to burn out his flicker. Still, though, I like how AFK and Kojic, they're keeping up the aggression, man. They're showing to ONIC Philippines that, yo, we're not scared. We're gonna be able to dance toe-to-toe with you guys.
Yeah. I was gonna say that they're very kind of able to match the pace early game. That's what they exactly need to do. You can see the damage too, like even when in terms of the emblems, ONIC Philippines is going for that damage across the board for the most part, trying to go ahead and get that a little bit of advantage when it comes to these early skirmishes. You saw it in the index too, right? The index shows that their early mid game is actually really good. Brusco obviously going to be able to poke too on a Cho. He's one of the few players that still brings the Cho out, especially in the roam right now, and is able to usually set things up well. So again, with ONIC Philippines, the strength here to this is they have multiple ways to set things up around the objective fights, or even if they just choose to go ahead and go for a pickoff, where again, VERSO Time, they've really got to be right on the timing of those ultimates and the kits that this composition brings to the table for them.
Yeah, in the early game, though, it should be easy for VERSO Time. Pop up the heavy spin, and then King Kong's going to be thinking twice about wanting to go in and get the turtle, because there's a high chance he's just going to get pinned down. There's one less wall to work with, but those are still two pretty big walls on the sides of the turtle. First turtle fight up, who is going to get it?
Trashball's thrown out. Already the Braves fighter. Castle's going to flicker in, though. He's going for Kirk. It's a split-off fight. Brusco might get caught. He does have to burn the flicker, but finally he goes down as Castle picks up that kill. Kirk trying to be a distraction. RWM comes down. They're going to go for it. King Kong will secure the turtle. And now AFK in trouble. King Kong gets to fall too. Two fall for ONIC Philippines. A great fight for VERSO Time as they pick up 3 kills, trading it for the turtle.
Yeah, it's not going to be worth it, as ONIC Philippines got the turtle, but they also lost King Kong, Kirk, and Brusco to boot. It looked good for ONIC in the beginning, but because of the power that a Lapu-Lapu NCC side lane can bring, when that river is up, VERSO Mars can just join the fight, which he did. Credit to Kellera, instead of staying in the lane and farm, he actually joined the fight as well. So they understood that this is going to be a full 5v5. But in the end, because of the much tankier composition that VERSO Time has, no surprise that they ended up taking the win there. So the next sequences for ONIC are going to have to be playing a lot of care. They're going to have to put a lot of respect towards the very tanky Lapu-Lapu, Gatakaja, and Akai, who, yes, still also deal an incredible amount of damage in the early portions of the game. And what I also like is that it seems like VERSO Time understands also the tendencies of ONIC in terms of the rotation. There's one thing they did leading up to the first turtle. AFK left the mid lane, decided to help Justinian a bit as he's getting his Zabito, which means that Brusco and Kirk couldn't mess him up in his rotation as much as they wanted to. And then Kojic played safe in the mid. He took some damage from King Kong right before Turtle 1, but he didn't end up giving the kill, which is a tendency when you're going up against ONIC Philippines leading up to the Turtle. If the mid laner's not careful, you're going to be giving away a kill to King Kong, who's at level 3 or most specifically in that time, level 4. So VERSO Time still continues to impress me.
That they do, man. And again, I think even if you look at that last fight, that Revitalize really helped from AFK. You saw it too. He's 3-1 right now in the Gatakacha. So AFK is one of the players yesterday that was really impressive, especially when he was playing the Kalea. He's going to be focused down a little bit by Brusco here. No pulling the trigger on that kick, though, from Brusco. Turtle is up, so they want to go ahead and get the favorable positioning if they can. Do a little bit of damage here to Justinian, but again, so tanky, this lineup for VERSO. There's the jump. Avatar the Guardian's going to go in. AFK, he pops the Revitalize. He's going to be able to heal on through. Kellera is in trouble as well. They have to go back to the turret. Justinian gets the turtle, and it looks like just ONIC is not in a fighting form as King Kong will clear out that mid, and just VERSO Time right now is taking everything in the 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised that ONIC decided to go for the full commit there. Because of the massive loss that they experienced with the first turtle, that's already enough sign that you shouldn't be taking any big fights. And again, I think this is just more credit to VERSO really respecting ONIC Philippines in terms of their tendencies, what they like to do, what they can do, and they're just man-marking everyone so well. King Kong, though, good acknowledgement and good read that there was a high chance there was someone in the jungle waiting there, so he decided to eat the tower hit instead.
Yeah, good usage up there. Does a little bit of damage to that tier 1 turret as well, and it's right now what we see ONIC Philippines doing is just pretty much trying to scrape up what they can. But VERSO has this lead, a very good lead at that. You can see Justinian going at this side of the jungle, but King Kong's going to be fine. And so VERSO they don't want to let this lead go, right? They want to go ahead and continue to press on that wound against ONIC Philippines right now. They have complete control. I mean, even this next objective that comes up, VERSO is in a good position to go ahead and just take that as well. ONIC needs quite a bit of time, honestly, to go ahead and build up, and it's actually kind of impressive because they were the composition, the team that had that early game, mid game advantage, technically, like based on the composition, but they're the ones struggling, and it's just showing that tankier durability that comes with this lineup for VERSO and the decision to actually make the kits, the ultimates, line up correctly has done wonders for VERSO
Yeah, again, it goes back to the question as to why they took that fight. Oh, great kick, though!
Wow. Hey, just like that, they put him on the board with the Brusco.
All right, okay, so that's an initial pick off. They go for the conceal, and they're looking for more in mid.
Well, I think they do, but look at this damage already being dealt out. Kirk has nowhere to go. He even petrified, so he wasn't able to get the setup. Kojic didn't even need to use his own Purify, so the fight for the turtle should be VERSO just grabbing this. They know Brusco's not going to be a threat. He doesn't have a kick. They get that turtle locked in here for VERSO so they might have just lost one, but ultimately, they're still in control of this game.
Great so far by VERSO. They know the strengths. If they get wins early on, they can just compound that into a very quick lead. Oh, no!
He's not going to survive. Wow, I'm surprised. I guess he just wanted to check things out to see how many people were there, but welcome to the party, says VERSO
Yeah, it's like, oh, wait, cool. This place looks kind of cool. I wonder what's going on. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't get the invite. VERSO again, I just keep seeing more evidence that they really understand the tendencies of ONIC here, that they decided to go for the full hold into that bush. They could have split out their members to help usher in more waves in the middle of the map, in the bottom of the map, or go for a quick peek into the jungle. They said, no, we wait here. This is where they like to check. We see where they are. We're going to stay. And VERSO continues to put the pressure onto ONIC.
Yeah, I mean, they're just in this side of the jungle, this side of the map. All they want, again, with this control of being this tanky, but then also just being able to go ahead and confidently face off against ONIC Philippines on their side of the jungle is what's making it work. They're going to fight under the tier 1 turret in the mid lane. Oh, they're trapped. Brusco has to be able to get away. They do get the turret. Kirk taking a brunt of the damage.
Oh.
Even in the dragon form, he's not able to get away as Kojic picks up another kill. This time around, Kirk is not having a good time on this Yu Zhong in game 1.
Yeah, we were saying it in the draft because of them rushing that Yu Zhong pick right away. VERSO drafted incredibly well into it, picking up the Gatakachi and Nakai in the first phase, and they even showed up with the CC as the 4th pick. All of that just leads to so much pressure for the Yu Zhong that if it doesn't get an early game, it feels like you're not going to get a game at all, especially if before 10 minutes you already have 3 deaths. And it's ironic because Yu Zhong is one of the most banned picks in EECA, and it is one of the strongest picks. But I think it just goes to show because VERSO has to think about Yu Zhong so much that they're ready for it.
There's a kick again. Brusco going for the target. Castle's going to be the one. He still gets away with the bravest fighter, so he's up. Lord's still being worked on by Justinian. So King Kong, is he going to be able to go ahead and steal it? He tries to get in position. Brusco is giving him the information. King Kong will take the Lord right from the hands of Justinian. It might cost him his life, but that buys ONIC Philippines more time. And VERSO just let that go. They wanted to fight. They were forced to fight because of the kick from Brusco, but that just bought them a little more time. VERSO still got the lead. They're still in control. but that might change things now with the course of the game.
Whoa, my goodness. King Kong, I did not expect that he would actually be able to steal that away. And he almost got away without giving away a kill. But at this point, ONIC says that's hella worth it because VERSO time, all of the efforts that they had in the first 9 minutes of the game just went out the window with King Kong stealing that Lord away. Another highlight for the Beast as ONIC PH can now find a bit more room to work with. Great itemization for Keller, by the way, who decided to rush the Malefic Roar, or if I'm not mistaken, maybe he was already able to build it as the third item because he needs that with the tanky presence of VERSO Time's frontliners.
Yep.
That is going to be the main item that he needs so that he can melt down. And suddenly, tables have shifted, man. It has switched up. ONIC Philippines are much more comfortable. They understood their power spike.
Yeah, part of that too is, again, it's not, you know, when you look at this on a macro level for the map, that Lord is taken care of really quickly, but it's opened up down the mid lane. That bottom lane tier 1 is down too. So what essentially happened is ONIC Philippines gets a little more breathing room. You know, they did have a gold deficit. I think it was around 6,000 gold before that Lord take from King Kong. They've narrowed it down a little bit more. Like I said, it's a very small lead now, a couple thousand gold for VERSO time. But what this does for ONIC Philippines is gives them that more confidence to not just be so trapped into their side of the map, you know, towards their side of the jungle. Some key item pickups as well being locked in here for ONIC Philippines.
Sea Halberd for Kelra, Lantern for Super Prince, and now it's VERSO time. It's their time to really reconsider of when they're gonna be going in for the fights, because if they don't get Super Prince and Kelra down quick, or at least pressure them enough that they have to back off a little and not provide enough of the damage that ONIC Philippines needs, then you're gonna see VERSO time front line, their very tanky front, suddenly go down much quicker. So this isn't the usual ONIC Philippines that we're used to seeing, but it's another element to their growth of being able to come back from behind if they can. They still have some glaring problems though. The fact that there's a 1,100 deficit between Kirk and AFK, or excuse me, Kirk and VERSO Castle, which is actually up to 3,000. So that's a massive gap. That Lapu Lapu has hella items. It's only a Dominance Ice and a Hunter Strike for the Yu Zhong. They need a little bit more on it so that he can survive the damage getting dished out. I think Radiant Armor would be good for him, or if he just wants a little bit more HP, that could be good too, just to buy a little bit more time and survive longer.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how fast we see Kirk just kind of, you know, deleted on the Yu Zhong. Avatar of the Guardian's going to be expended. They do get the battle spell to flicker out from Super Prince. Not sure if this is actually going to break into a fight, so a little bit of poking happening here. Kelra, like you mentioned with those locked-in items, is actually a threat to some of these tankier members now of VERSO time, but still needs some of that time to go ahead and build up. So King Kong still on that side. Going against Castle here. Castle jumping on through, so no one's going to commit to this Lord just yet, while they just scrap for some more gold and XP across the map.
A bit of a irresponsible rotation there actually by VERSO time. They allowed King Kong to just flow the minion wave so that the second tower up top gets taken down without any contention whatsoever, while VERSO time expended their ultimate to try and force a fight that it looked like not everyone was ready to commit into at the center of the map. And I think we saw just a little bit of miscommunication there by VERSO time, but they are still holding the Lord here. ONIC PH can contest, and King Kong is going to be coming in from a weird angle that it seems like VERSO time might be ready for.
They know they can set that up too. Pojic is locked in right now on this Kimmy. This is what we were saying about that damage profile from VERSO time. Couple shots here from Kelra. Lord at a third of the health. Avatar of the Guardian going to be jumped in. Super Prince will get caught. The Unbreakable is going to be able to taunt him. Super Prince is gone because he burned the flicker earlier. Kirk in the dragon form. He's taken so much damage as well. Kelra has to get away. Castle's able to lock him down, but he'll fall. Taking Kirk down with him, and Castle's still up. He survives amidst it all. And now VERSO time gets it back in their favor, and they'll be able to start up the Lord.
First I was wondering, it's like AFK, that seems a little bit off timing there, but then, yeah, Super Prince with his flicker gone, I think they were still keeping tabs on his flicker, and they knew that he still didn't have it, and Super Prince gets caught out, and just like that, VERSO time takes control of the game yet again. They have a close to a 4,000 gold lead in terms of the gold. However, that means ONIC Philippines, because it's at this point of the game, that gold lead doesn't matter as much, except for maybe one or two players on their side, either Brusco or Kirk. Keller and Super Fist are pretty much good with the items, but Verso time, great understanding of the situation, and yet again, Verso Castle pulls off a play with a Lapu Lapu where you expect him to go down, and yet he survived.
Yeah, that's, again, the fact that he survived that, man. Hats off to Castle. Again, one of the players that has so much experience through the competitive scene. You jump in, once again, the Avatar of the Guardian from AFK, but this is just the force off on Philippines from that tier 2 mid lane. They still got to deal with this Lord coming up from that top side. We'll see if they're able to do anything more. Verso time might have to wait for those ultimates to be back up, especially for AFK and Kojic. So a charge in from the Lord. We'll see if they can do any more to this turret or if it's just going to sit at half health. So that might be all they get for now. And again, these ultimates that they need are just not up.
Yeah, AFK can still continuing his tremendous play yesterday from when he played the Kalea. He's deathless, no kills, but 11 assists. That is the most roamer stat line that you can have at this point. He has made use of the Revitalize incredibly well. Despite that one-off play in the center of the map where it seemed like his AOG was mistimed, eventually he came back later on with it, getting that pick off or helped setting up the pick off onto Super Friends. While ONIC Philippines, the pressure is still on. Seems like the question for Verso time, if they can make this lineup that has so many different pieces that don't work so well cohesively, unless your timing is perfect, they can make it work. Their timing is perfect. They're making the most out of all of the crowd control abilities they have. That curtain call, the threat of the land shaker together, and that's not even talking about yet the heavy spin and the Avatar of the Guardian. Verso time know exactly what they need to do with this composition, and it's a treat to see the fact that they are giving ONIC Philippines a lot of difficulty right now, and they're making ONIC work for it.
Yeah, very different game than what ONIC Philippines went through yesterday with CYBERHERO. Again, this is kind of just a showcase of what Verso time is capable of doing. Again, that first obstacle they had yesterday going against EVOS, now they're able to go ahead and maintain this lead and give a hell of a game to ONIC Philippines at game one. Again, even if you look at the kill count, it's 12-1 for Verso time. Yes, ONIC Philippines has been able to scrap up some components on the map, some of the resources that they need to, objectives, but again, can Verso time keep this under control? We've seen it before where ONIC Philippines can go ahead and swing a game in their favor towards that late game. Well, hell, Verso time did it yesterday against EVO, so we'll see if they can continue to play with this lead. That Lord is up. How is ONIC Philippines going to play into this? This powered up, this evolved Lord now, the 18-minute mark. I'm not sure if they want to go ahead and even get in range of this. They might be better off defending into the base, but they're all set up around this for now.
Yeah, at this point, them losing a big fight means Verso time just straight up wins this, but the Lord almost down.
Oof. They're going to go for it. Jump. Avatar of the Guardian up in the backside. Kelra could be in trouble here. He's going to get caught in again. So now Kelra goes down, and this is a fight just going all for Verso time. They don't have to continue on. They'll secure the Lord. They took out Kelra, and now Verso time will get ready to march towards them.
All the crowd control, all the dive, and yet again, it's the curtain call. All the crowd control that Verso time has, just pressuring Kelra, even though he was staying safe in the back. The fact that they were able to close the gap that quickly, it's going to be so tough for ONIC Philippines to even defend. And usually, this lineup and even Granger together is great defenders. But look at Castle.
Castle again. Bravest fighter jumping on forward. They take down the mid turret. Lord still making its way up top. ONIC Philippines scrapping what they can, trying to maintain this bottom turret as they clear out the wave. Verso time can play into this. This Lord will go ahead and charge in, and they can force a fight here if they want to. AFK has the Avatar of the Guardian. Kojic almost has that traction pulse. Justinian jumps in. There's the AOG up on under the turret. They're still going to be fighting. AFK has the immortality. He's going to rely on Castle to get in. Kelra will clean it up. They go for the Lord now. They have to clear this one out. With AFK gone, ONIC Philippines will defend against that Lord push. King Kong on the backside, trying to go for Kojic. Won't be able to land that Thorn Rose that he was looking for, but they ultimately stay in the game.
ONIC Philippines, they're gonna have to do that a lot more, and that was just them making the most of. I wouldn't even call it an error from AFK. You expect him to enter there with the AOG, try to provide some zoning, maybe get a good crowd control in, because Verso Castle was coming in from the mid lane towards the side of ONIC Philippines. So I wouldn't call that an error by AFK, which is great capitalization on the fact that, hey, we have a target, we have a kick, we can take this one out. But then it hurt even more for their efforts heading into this next Lord that Kirk went down, who is still behind on items, still waiting for him to get a little bit more tankier here. While for Super Friends, he's finally able to get past the gap of being behind Brusco, actually, in terms of the gold. Already has the Divine Glaive. It's not a question anymore of will ONIC Philippines have the items for majority of their players other than Kirk. It's just a question of can they actually find the right timing and angle to win in a fight against Verso Time, because Verso Time is the one throughout this game finding the right timing and angle time and time again.
And I think as this next Lord comes up here in a couple seconds, it's one of those things again, like ONIC Philippines' decisions are more so like, should we fight around this? Is there actually a favorable setup that we can get? And that's the hard part here for Brusco. He's got to kind of be that guy. And, you know, this is one of the weak points of HO. Eventually, you know, it gets to a point in the game where it's like you get the kickoff, but you're probably going to die in this. Castle's going to jump in.
Castle.
The Bravest Fighter gets a land shaker.
Oh my
AOG
God.
Super Fritz is going to have to flicker back. Kirk flying in the Black Dragon form, but there's enough damage coming out from ONIC now. AFK still up. Pop the Revitalize. Kirk gets zoned out from the team. He still has the Petrify too, so Kirk not able to use that. King Kong now out of the jungle, and Verso Time will heal back up. They've got to clear out the waves, pushing them to the base for ONIC. Now Verso Time clears sign to go ahead and take this Lord. Brusco, given the information here, Kelra and Super Friends are part of the fight, but they might have to let this one go. RWM drop down. Kelra trying to gain space once again. Castle is a maniac. He's going for it. He does pop the immortality as Castle falls, pick up a kill. Oh! Comes in to get the Lord from the hands of Verso Time again.
What the heck? King Kong showing why he's the beast. Just when you thought that there was no way, he made it in there just in time, and you see the frustration on Castle's face. It's like he's telling Verso Time, I've done everything for you guys to make sure they wouldn't get close. But ONIC and still walk away with the Lord. What a steal.
What happened? I mean, how did Verso Time not get that? Like, that's the question. I mean, even for King Kong to, you know, we've seen King Kong do that so many times, but yeah, understandable the frustration that we see there from Castle, because he was just zoning out ONIC Philippines for the most part, and King Kong kind of swooped in to go ahead and take the Lord there. So now this is a huge moment, a shift of power play once again with the Lord coming up to that bottom side. They'll go ahead and get the tier 2 in the mid down. A charge in from this Lord will take out that base turret, and all this work that Verso Time has done could just be the end here. Justinian takes so much damage from Kelma. Kirk's going to jump in, holding on to that Petrify once again. They're going to have to clear out this Lord. The mid turret falls as well as King Kong's working up on the top side. RWM drop down, forcing him back. AOG, though, will land in the mid lane. Brusco has the immortality. He's going to stay up, and they're still fighting forward. Lord still up. Castle jumps in again. Castle with the Bravest Fighter will be able to find two. Kelra and Super Friends. Castle putting this game and the teammates on his shoulders as the Bravest Fighter.
Oh my goodness, what a king! Castle, the land shaker, perfect! Just when I thought that Super Friends' flicker out there past the wall to actually survive all of the dive that he was eating up was gonna be the most incredible play of that sequence. No, it's Castle showing up with the land shaker, and now it turns around because there's only 3 members of ONIC remaining.
You're gonna have to clear this out. The waves is what they want to focus on. 3 members of ONIC still up. Justinian gonna lock down King Kong. King Kong Thorn Rose, he's able to get out, picks up an immortality, switched in too. Kirk will clear out the wave. They bought themselves some time, but it's not enough time as Verso Time will take game 1 against ONIC Philippines.